Hey guys, it's Pete. Welcome back to the channel. This is where we talk about money, finances, and where we give you information to help you make the best financial decisions possible. This week, I am reviewing another app, and this one is the one that I get probably 15 or so requests to review every single week on IG. It's very, very popular by the sounds of it. We're going to be talking Trade 212. So before we get started, my usual disclaimer: I am a professional in financial services. I spent the last 15 years in the industry, the last 8 in wealth management, where I work in investments. I am a qualified financial advisor. I've advised on investments, pensions, the like in the past. So when I approach these reviews, I'm reviewing them from the perspective of someone who's been in the industry for a very, very long time, and looking at it from the angle that if I was a first-time investor, are these people giving me enough information so that I can make an informed decision? And the reason why that is important are for 2 reasons. First and foremost, I've been doing some research on Trade 212 today, and boy oh boy, they are a very, very popular topic on YouTube. And I say that to say this: that many people are sharing their journey, using them themselves, and there is nothing wrong with that. In fact, I welcome that, because I think the more you can encourage people to invest in the market, the earlier, the better. However, they're not always the best sources of inspiration and information, because they get a lot of things wrong. I always say, if you're going to look for someone to perform brain surgery, you go to a brain surgeon. You don't go to a chiropractor, for example. So it's really important that you vet where you're getting your information from. Secondly, when it comes to information is so loosely available, widely available now on Instagram, on YouTube, and so on and so forth, that it is very, very difficult to differentiate what is real and what is not, what is fact and what is just complete and utter fiction. And unfortunately, you don't know what you don't know until you know you don't know it. And when you talk about that, specifically when it comes to money and investments, it can be quite expensive. And God forbid you get to that stage where you learn that you didn't know something, and had you known that, you wouldn't have done it. So these reviews, this review in particular, is going to be looking at Trading 212 from this perspective of, are they giving you enough information so that you're informed and you know what you're doing when you begin to use them? So if you've liked what you've heard so far and you like what we're going to be going into, make sure that you smash the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It will help me out massively with the YouTube algorithm, and it will mean that other people who might find this topic interesting will also get to see this video, and you get notified when these videos get uploaded every single week on my channel. Let's jump over to my computer, because there's a couple of things I want to show you there first before we go on to the app on my phone. Right, so this is the 212 homepage, and one of the things that they do really, really well straight off the bat is in this header: invest with as little as £1. Like I say, these guys are disrupting what the traditional wealth management business has been doing for a very, very long time. And one of the big arguments that I've always had with my industry is the fact that they put a barrier to people investing. If you can start investing with £1, fantastic. It's something you should absolutely do. And these guys are offering zero, like commission-free investing, fee-free stocks and shares ISAs. You've got 3,000 global stocks and ETFs available with these guys. They're bringing the stock market to you at a very, very affordable rate of 0 in this instance. You can buy fractional shares. I'm going to talk a little bit about fractional shares through the rest of this video. No foreign exchange fee. This is a big one, because if you're buying Tesla stock and you're buying it in USD, depending on what's going on with the currency, it could either play in your favor or it could play against you, depending on what's going on with the currency on the day. Unlimited instant trades, that's very, very good. 24/7 live support. Now, when I do these videos, you guys will know that there are 2 things that I constantly look at as non-negotiables. These are fundamental criteria that these guys have to basically meet. And they are the question of, are these guys authorized and regulated by the FCA? In this case, yes, they are. And do they offer you protection under the Financial Services Compensation Scheme? So again, in this case, they are. And what they're doing is they're keeping your money in a segregated account where you're protected by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme up to £85,000. So that is a great start. They meet the key two criteria. They're an absolute must for anybody that you work with or decide to place money with. So they pass with flying colours in that regard. One thing that I do love on this site though is this bit right here. Having things on your phone and having things accessible, I think, is really, really important, particularly if we're trying to encourage people to begin investing much, much sooner in life. Having something over on your phone means that it's accessible, it's there, it's in your face. It's likely to be higher on your priorities than the way things have been in the past, where you invest and you don't get a statement for 6 months or even maybe 12 months and then you review it. Having it on your phone means that you can constantly see it, you can constantly work on it, you can constantly keep yourself up to speed with what's going on. And if you set goals around this could be really, really powerful, particularly if you find yourself in a point of time where the market's increasing value, you have the confidence to continue to invest and purchase shares. This is a great thing, and I love that. And I like that they have on here Tesla stock, and they've got gold, so they're showing you what you can invest in. So I think this is really, really great. So one thing that I really wanted to pay attention to was up in this section right here. And this part basically explains the 3 services that they have available to you if you're going to use the app. And it's one app to trade, invest, and grow wealth. For the purposes of this review, I'm going to be focusing on the invest side, which is the first one that they're highlighting here. And this is all about free investing in real stocks and ETFs. ETFs are exchange traded funds. No commission, no fees, no limits, uncompromising execution on the leading exchanges. Now, this bit for trading, CFD, stocks, Forex, commodities, and all this stuff, this right here is for the big boys. This is extremely risky. This is not investing, this is trading. Those two things are very, very different. So they have that service, and they also have the ability to invest in an ISA as well. And if you watch me, you will know that I always state that if you're a first-time investor, your ISAs are the first port of call that you should begin with. So it's nice to see that they offer the tax-free wrappers in an ISA as a forum for you to invest in. I'm going to jump very, very shortly into the app on my phone and show you a couple of things. But I do just want to drive home a couple of things that I've just mentioned there, just so that it's clear with everybody. They are offering you the ability to invest in the markets and also to trade. Trading and investing are two different things. You have to understand that. If you simply digest information that's on YouTube, Instagram, and social media, it is easy to confuse the two things and think that trading is investing and investing is trading. They are not. Investing basically means you buying stock in a company. And as a owner of a stock in a company, you are eligible for dividends. You'll hear a lot about dividend stocks, dividend income. You only get that when you physically invest and buy stocks or buy shares. When you are trading, you are betting either for or against the performance of a stock, a currency, or a commodity like oil or gold. You're betting either for or against the price of that stock. So for example, I could say, I think today the share price of Tesla will go up, and I would place a trade in the hopes that the Tesla stock price increases in value. If it does, my trade is a successful one, I make a load of money. If it doesn't, then I fail in terms of the trade and I lose money, and I can put things like stop losses on that. Those two things are very, very different. With a trade, you're not physically owning or taking ownership of a share or a stock in a business, and therefore you're not eligible for dividends. So it is simply a trade, a bet that you are placing either for or against the price of a share or a commodity of some kind, or in the case of foreign exchange, currency pairs. Okay, so those two things are very, very, very different, and Trade 212 give you the opportunity to be able to do both. Now let's jump into the app and have a look at what they're offering on there, and I'm just going to highlight a few things that I think are very, very important for you guys to to be aware of. So this is the homepage. And now on the homepage, I've not actually funded my account yet. I only opened this up today just to get a feel of what the experience is like using the app. But this is the homepage, and this basically gives you a list of all of the big companies, right? So here you've got Tesla, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Netflix, Alphabet, which is Google, Microsoft, Boeing, Alibaba, Barclays. And with this, you can see what their share prices are. And these are moving share prices. So, with Tesla, it's currently going, it's going up and it's gone down. It's going down now. But that's really important, because if you, for example, buy Tesla stock, I own Tesla stock, and you wanted to trade on the Tesla stock, for example, or sell it, buy it, you're able to know what the price is at that given moment in time. And I think that's very, very important, because it informs your decision on whether you're going to buy or whether you're going to sell. Now, with this, you can also display their tickers. So, for example, if you click into this here, it gives you a graph which gives you a track record of what the performance of the stock has basically been. I mean, if you look back at this point here, the stock was, what was that, $866, and today it is at $832. So it's still a little bit off its high, but you can see its ticker. The ticker is essentially the designation that a stock has on the stock market. So for Tesla, it is TSLA, which is at the top of the screen right there. But let's just come out of this. Now, one of the things that they do that is really, really good is they give you the option to buy fractional shares. And I just want to talk a little bit about fractional shares, because it is something that seems to be the hype at the moment on social media. And fractional shares are a great thing. So fractional shares, typically, if you look at the share price of Amazon, it's $2,427 a share. Now, if you're a first-time investor, it would be hard for you to find $2,427 to purchase one share in Amazon. So what Trading 212 do really well is they give you the option to buy a fraction of an Amazon share. And that means that it lowers the barrier of entry that you have as a first-time investor when you want to invest in these stocks. Now, with all of this, it's really important to understand how that fundamentally works. So if you only had £1, for example, because you can get started with as little as £1 with these guys, it will buy you 0.0001 of Amazon. Now, if Amazon were to pay a dividend, then it means that you would get 0.0001 of the dividends payments, either for that quarter or for that year, depending on how regularly they pay their dividends. So fractional shares are a great way for you to begin investing in the markets or investing in stocks directly, so that you can gain confidence in, number one, how the markets work, what companies pay out dividends, and simply just understanding the fundamentals of businesses and how they come to pay dividends, because dividends are paid from profits. They have to be doing really well. If a company is making profits, then it's likely that their share price is going to increase, because they are then paying a dividend. So as more people flock to buy the stock price goes up. But you get to learn all these things from experience, starting really, really low with things like fractional shares. Now, on the flip side to that, one of the questions that I get on Instagram from my followers is fractional shares. I want to get dividends, and I want to be able to make enough dividends so that I can start to earn passive income. And I think it's really important to understand that by buying fractional shares, you're not necessarily going to be in a position where you're going to get a passive income that is going to change your life immediately. And that's one of the downsides of buying fractional shares, because you're only buying a fraction of a share. When it does finally pay out dividends, you're only getting a fraction of that dividends. Now, I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube, and people who have share portfolios on Trade 212 with 25, 30 stocks in there. And it's good to be diversified. And this is something that I speak a lot about on my channel on Instagram. Being diversified is absolutely key. So you don't want to go and buy Tesla stock and maybe Microsoft stock and maybe another stock, and you'll have all your money in 3 shares. That means that your risk is way too high. And this leads on to another discussion around risk investment risk, because this is very, very real when you're buying shares in companies like this. There are so many factors that could impact the price of the share price that are completely outside of your control. So holding 3 stocks means that you carry more risk than having, say, 12 or 15. But there is such a thing as over diversifying. If you have 25, 30 stocks, you then really start to ask questions of, okay, so which ones are doing really well? Which ones are a complete waste of time? The idea here is that you have to understand what kind of investor you are and what strategy you want to employ. It would be a good approach to do some fundamental research of some of the companies that you're going to be investing in. And I want to show you something that Trading 212 do really, really well. So let's just go into the watch list again, and let's go Tesla. I own Tesla stock. The reason why I bought Tesla stock is I drive a Tesla. I've had one for 5 years. I follow a lot of Tesla news. I like Elon. I understand what he's trying to do. I understand how the business is progressing in terms of the self-drive technology that they have in the cars, the Model 3, the Model Y, and all these new technologies that they're developing. I see where that might be a position in the future where they gain a strategic advantage. They already have a strategic advantage with the international network of superchargers. And these are some of the reasons why I decided to buy Tesla stock. That doesn't mean that those are reasons why you should buy them. It might be wrong for you. And this isn't financial advice. This is just for educational purposes, but it's important for me to state that and highlight that. But one thing that Trading 212 do extremely well is they do give you some information about the stock. So if you look at this part here, in addition to the chart of their stock price over a period of time, you can go from 1 day to 1 week to 1 month to 3 months to 1 year. And you can have a look at their maximum, which in this case, I don't know how far it goes back, but it will probably go back maybe 3, maybe 5 years or so. You can see the journey on the stock price. But in addition to that, it does give you further information about the company in terms of what they do, their products, so on and so forth. The CEO, Elon Musk, the amount of employees they have, where they're situated, what industry sector they're in, their market cap, their revenue. These things are very, very important. You have to learn exactly what all of this information means so that you can inform your decision with the right bits of information to ensure that you make the right decision. And it also gives you financial summaries. These are very, very important. Income statements, right? These are fundamental things. Balance sheets, so total assets, total liabilities. You can see how much money they owe. You can see how leveraged they are. So in the case of Tesla, debt to assets is 80%. Right, so some people may say, well, actually, that's pretty high, and some people would say actually that it is. But then you then need to have a look at how they're projected in terms of their revenue going forward. So these things that they provide here are really, really good. And if you're going to use these guys, it's very, very important that you get a fundamental understanding of what all this information means so that you can make an informed decision. One thing that they do really, really well, which I just want to show you on the app here, is they do provide you with a ton of videos. And I could not encourage you more. Take time to watch the videos. Believe me, if you don't, you might regret it. And with all this kind of stuff, you've got to think of it this way. This is your money. The onus is on you. This is something that you're taking into your own hands. And it's important that you gather the information, the right information. You take the time to learn the information that you need so that you don't make a mistake and you get into the situation where actually, if you'd known something, you wouldn't have done it. So please do take time to watch videos. These videos in here, there's quite a few around stock investing. They've got 47 videos altogether there. They've got 49 videos for technical analysis for beginners. I think that will be more sort of attuned to guys who are looking at CFDs and trading in particular. But still, even if you are investing, it's worthwhile looking at some of that information as well. But my final thoughts on Trade 212. Look, guys, they are offering a new approach to allow people to begin investing in the markets. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. One big question that I do have is that it is virtually impossible to provide a free service. And I've done a little bit of research today, and I don't know how Trade 212 make money on this service specifically. They will make a load of money on the CFD side to the business, but how do they make money on the invest side of the business that I've just looked through there? That I don't know. I would certainly, if I were going to be using them, I would want to know how they're making money. There are a number of theories out there around how they make money, whether they be on the spread when you purchase shares and you execute an order. If that is the case, I would like to see that in fine print, because that's important to know. It's important that they're transparent with how they make money. Nothing is ever free in business. So the big question is, where's the compromise? That's really important to understand. But should you use it? Absolutely. I believe it's an app that is going to get you on the journey, started on the journey at least, to investing and building yourself an important, valuable portfolio in the future. But I think there are a number of things that you need to be aware of. Number one, the risk versus the reward. The rewards are easy to understand because it's aspirational, but you absolutely need to understand the risk. You have to understand how to diversify your portfolio. Very, very important. 25, 30 stocks is over diversifying in my opinion. And this isn't financial advice. Again, this is just for educational purposes, but I've been in wealth management now for 8 years. 25, 30 stocks for me is over diversifying. Can you pick 12, 15, maybe 20 stocks max that will give you the best bang for your buck? How do you go about doing that? That's a learning curve. That's information that you need to find, and things that you need to educate yourself on and execute adequately within your purchase plan when you're using these guys. But look, that's my review. I think it's a great service. If you guys have any questions, you know where I am. Feel free to drop me a message in the comments down below, or you can find me on Instagram at Conversation of Money. If you've not checked out my podcast, please do. This is the art for it right here. It's called the Conversation of Money Podcast. It's available on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. We cover some great topics there. We talk about investing and all other things that are related to finances across every walk of life. So please do check me out over there as well. And again, if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next week's video, catch you soon.